Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. And of course, tomorrow, Champions League for Arsenal kicks off once again. And this time we are hosting AS Monaco, a team that is, in a way, quite a bit on fire this season, who are doing pretty well in the league, who are doing pretty well in Champions League in general. So definitely there will be some very tough game ahead because people expect an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game in my opinion. It will be a bit of a tough one, but ultimately Arsenal should be able to get it done, get it over the line and get 3 points. Maybe that could be a game where we finally score from an open play. Maybe we start to kind of recapture some sort of form. Obviously remains to be seen. We're going to see that tomorrow. But ultimately, it's going to be a rough one, I expect. I generally expect to be a rough one, although our home record is pretty good. We haven't lost there yet. So, hopes are we don't lose again. And a draw won't be the best of results. To be honest, we could get a draw, but the draw wouldn't do us any favors whatsoever in Champions League at the moment. Because if we want to finish in that top 8, in my opinion, we pretty much need to win every single game that has been left for us in Champions League, and that is Monaco at home, Dinamo Zagreb at home, and Girona away. However, we just saw Liverpool go to Girona away and win only 1-0. So it definitely won't be an easy task. Girona at home are very formidable opponents, so it will be very interesting to see how that develops. But today on the cards, of course, preview for Arsenal versus Monaco. We're gonna look at some transfer rumors, some rumors and news surrounding Arsenal in general, and of course some Coneman music in Arteta's pre-Monaco press conference. And then we're gonna look at the starting 11. We're gonna try and do the starting 11 prediction and of course the predicted results. So if you're excited, if you're new around here, smash a like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that good stuff. If you have anything you want to discuss, leave it in the chat, or if you're watching this a playback, leave it down in comments below. I tend to answer to pretty much every single comment that I get on streams or videos. So let's kick things straight off. Let's kick them off with, I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna kick things off with some rumors surrounding Arsenal, some reports and other business that includes Arsenal, of course. And we're gonna kick things off with Martin Odegaard, ironically enough. We're gonna kick things off with Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard has openly come out and has said that we did a lot, but I think we have to be a bit more aggressive going into the box and attacking the box. And to be honest, Arsenal in the game against Fulham felt very passive, very unenergetic and very unenthusiastic. Didn't create much from open play, and pretty much the most dangerous situations obviously came from set pieces in corners. So definitely Martin Odegaard is saying all the right things. The thing is though, it's really easy at the moment to nullify Arsenal if you kind of crowd that right side with Saka and Odegaard. They both go missing and Arsenal pretty much stop functioning. So it's not just we need to be more aggressive. I think Odegaard needs to be more aggressive. He needs to be more direct, and he needs to make some more risky decisions, because currently we just play very safe football, and obviously high risk, high reward, and the one who doesn't risk doesn't drink champagne at the end of anything. So definitely I think in that regard we definitely should take some more risks and we should stop playing safe, but definitely we need more energy into the team. Now, on other news, it looks like Daily Dushan is back in business by the looks of things. Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United, all three teams are still interested in Dusan Vlahovic according to TBR Football. So Daily Dushan is returning to Arsenal. 100% January transfer window is gonna hit, summer transfer window is gonna hit. If we haven't signed striker by then, most likely we won't. And Daily Dushan will kick in once again. Dusan Vlahovic from Fiorentina went to Juventus, becoming the highest paid player in Serie A. He's earning 430,000 a week, gross obviously, but earning 430,000 a week. That's even more than 29 is earning at Arsenal. Not by much, by 50 grand only, but still earning more. But yeah, Daily Dushan looks like it could be back on cards. Obviously, Chelsea are still looking for a formidable striker. United desperately as well need a striker because Zirkzee, God help us, God help them. Hoyland not good enough, and they definitely need a proper bagsman up top. And obviously, these three teams are looking for someone strong, tall, who can finish with very good shot and very good pace and strength and everything, hold up play, ball distribution, and that more or less fits the profile of Dusan Vlahovic. So don't be surprised once Daily Dusan, even on this channel, when January transfer window hits, comes back. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, because that definitely will hit the books. It will hit them hard, and we definitely gonna talk about strikers, because ironically enough, on Arsenal's transfer list, in striker form, there isn't Gyökeres, from what I have heard in rumor mill. There is Isak, yes. There is Šeško, yes. There are some other players we're gonna talk about in a second. But there's also Vlahovic, but there is no Gyökeres, so that is still a bit of an interesting one, leaving the big question: will Arsenal actually go for Gyökeres at any given time? But currently, not the worst, and not the best. And here we go. Some more transfer rumors. Chelsea and Arsenal are set to battle to sign 19-year-old defender Vitor Reis from Palmeiras. No idea who the guy is, not gonna lie. If anyone knows how the Brazilian market works, what he is cooking at Palmeiras, let me know. But ultimately have no idea what he is. Chelsea are signing all the Brazilian young talents. Estevao is joining them in January. Another influx of players, another good player they are getting. So that will be very interesting to see how he fits into the team. But currently it's just a random rumor. We're not gonna get too much into it. But ultimately it's still there, so we'll be talking about this. And striker talks don't stop there. There is also, of course, Jonathan David. His contract runs out at the end of this season. After this season, his contract is running out. He's one of the top bagsmen for Lille, obviously the top bagsman for Lille, one of the top bagsmen in Ligue 1, and one of the leaders of the team. Arsenal, Manchester United, and Barcelona are ready to battle it out to sign Jonathan David on a free this summer, which is very, very interesting, because he has mostly played pretty much in Ligue 1. He was bought to Lille as an Osimhen replacement when he moved to Napoli, if I'm not mistaken. So that is definitely working in a very interesting ways. Signing him as a secondary striker, I wouldn't be against, but I would like to sign a proper striker that definitely fits the system. Jonathan David as a secondary striker would be great. Signing a proper striker also would be fantastic. The question is where does that leave Kai Havertz, because one of the biggest reasons why Šeško apparently didn't sign during summer transfer window was the fact that he got told that he would have to play backup dancer for Havertz up top. And like, which striker would come to Arsenal if you would tell him that Kai goddamn Havertz is gonna be in front of you 99% of the time of strikers when you pick them for the game? Like, that doesn't add up. So Jonathan David would be very interesting. Obviously, that's coming out from Mundo Deportivo today. Will be very interesting to see whether it happens or not. But this is one of those strikers I actually wouldn't be against getting. Maybe not as a main one, but as a backup, as a Jesus replacement per se, 100% wouldn't be against. Yesterday, some news about Dan Ashworth shocked the world, given the fact that he has left United only after 5 months. But apparently there are some big rumors that Arsenal are set to consider Dan Ashworth as a possible candidate for their vacant sporting director position following his departure from Manchester United. Obviously, we have talked about the Roberto Olabe from Real Sociedad. There have been talks about the sporting director from AS Monaco, some talks about Per Mertesacker, Thomas Rosicki, people like that. But recently, obviously, just about as he has left United. Very interesting that instantly Ashworth has been linked with Arsenal. And to be honest, there are some ties with Ashworth there, because if I'm not mistaken, it's Garlic. They both were at West Brom together as sporting directors, managers, and stuff like that. So that definitely would be the case, because here it is. Dan Ashworth worked with Arsenal's managing director, Richard Garlic, at West Brom, and sources added that the pair enjoyed a close working relationship at the time. Sounds a bit zesty, but we move. Garlic is now leading the club's search for a sporting director after Edu resigned last month. So if Garlic is leading the race, leading the club's search, definitely I would say on top of the list, because it's job for the boys, although Ashworth is not the worst, would be Dan Ashworth. Obviously, Mikel Arteta should still have to sign up for this, But I wouldn't be surprised if this would come out as a proper link and Arsenal would go for him at some point, would actually make him an offer during summer time, before summer. Big up BX Gunner, Jonathan David aka the Iceman. I know you're a big fan of Jonathan David. I'm not sure he would be the main guy for Arsenal, but has a Jesus replacement to start about, let's just say, 40% of games, to come off the bench, maybe something like that. I wouldn't be definitely against that for sure, especially for a free signing, wouldn't be the worst. But let's now get to some bad news in terms of Arsenal. According to training session that happened today, Thomas Partey was not in the training, Gabriel Magalhaes was not in the training, Jurrien Timber was not in the training, Zinchenko was not in the training, Ben White obviously, Tomiyasu obviously, and Ricardo Calafiori were not all in open training, at least pictures definitely today, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players were not pictured in the training. Now the worst part is Partey, Gabriel, Timber, technically Zinchenko or Calafiori, 5 starting players are already out. And this now, given that we have to play against Monaco, doesn't bode well for Arsenal. This is already some bad news before we do the Coleman music and Arteta press conference. This already is not some great news for Arsenal in that regard, because injuries have hit us hard. As you see, Connor Ham as well has said that Gabriel so far in Arsenal Open training session were not spotted. So that will be a big question mark. What team we gonna put out tomorrow? What Arteta will figure out? Will we play again with, I don't know, since we don't have a right back now, that will be the interesting one, because we don't have White, we don't have Timber, allegedly, and we don't also have Thomas Partey. So technically, all 3 left backs that can play there are not available, which means either he will have to play a 3 at the back, or he will have to play like, I don't know, Aiden Heaven there, or something like that, which is a bit of a mystery to see how he figures this one out, because all the players that could have played right back are not available to him. Genuinely, they are not available. So what's gonna happen now with Arsenal genuinely remains to be seen. Besides that, besides those things, obviously there are some reports that Arsenal and Manchester United are eyeing a Wolves striker. In this regard, we are talking about Mateus Cunha, who has been linked with Arsenal. And on top of that, there is this. Arsenal are interested in signing Joao Pedro and would be prepared to pay around £60 million for the Brighton striker, according to Fikayes. Now, the question is, would you take him at Arsenal? Would you take Mateus Cunha at Arsenal? One of the two or both. Would you take them at Arsenal? That is a big question for today. Arsenal are interested in Joao Pedro. If Arsenal in January as a striker would sign Joao Pedro, would you be satisfied with that? That for me arguably is the biggest question, because if Arsenal sign by some goddamn miracle in January a striker, it means we are not signing one in summer. That's pretty much a given. Or other way around, most likely. If we don't sign one in January, which looks like the most obvious option, we might go for one in summer, although we still don't know whether it's going to be true or not. Sorry. So the question is, if we sign Joao Pedro for 60 M's, by the way, would you be satisfied with that? Imagine he starts leads the line in the attack instead of Kai Havertz, for example. Would you be excited about that? Because Arsenal in recent times have signed 2 players from Brighton. They signed Trossard and they signed Ben White. Both of them have worked out well. Wish we signed, of course, Caicedo, but yeah, Arsenal just balled that completely, so we are where we are. Now, Arsenal looks like they are kind of happy with the Brighton market, the beach and everything, so it might stand to a reason that they go for Joao Pedro. But is Joao Pedro exactly what Arsenal need currently? Is he actually the guy that Arsenal needs? That is actually the bigger question. Because again, if he comes in, 60 million, same money pretty much as Kai Havertz, and he doesn't hit the ground running pretty much, it would get again quite peak. It would get quite rough, would get quite dangerous. So genuinely, we don't know what would be going on. So that is very, 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 very interesting. Now, bear with me here. I need to change something for a second, so we're gonna do that now. Now let's do it like this. I need to fix the title. I noticed something. So yeah, that is that. Now let's move back to this. Now the big question is, would you be happy with Joao Pedro? That for me is the big question for you today. Timber, yeah, not available. That we have 7 injured. We have all the defenders injured besides our center backs. That is where we are at the moment. Only fit defenders are the ones Arteta refuses to play. Tierney and Skelly on the wing backs. That's where we have fallen now. Osimhen and Isak, no more. Zubimendi, Ruiz, then Robinson, no more transfers. Like, in January, we are not gonna sign even one of them, in my opinion. I kind of have this sneaky suspicion that in January, we might loan one player in, and that might be it. Obviously, I would love to be proven wrong, and Arsenal sign like a big marquee signing, because we haven't signed a marquee signing in January since Aubameyang, to be honest, and that was, what, 8 years ago? Like, that has been some hell of a time when Arsenal are in a position where pretty much at the moment, every single signing must be on the money. Because we cannot afford to sign more mediocre players that are not good enough, that need 55,000 years till they adapt to the league, as they say, and get good. Because by then everyone will have overtaken us, Arsenal will be back in top 4 race, like they were under Arsene Wenger, and arguably we are there already, so I have no idea. He's better than Jesus, yes, so I assume you mean that about Joao Pedro or Jonathan David, or David. I think that's about Joao Pedro. So those are some transfer rumors, some transfer talks from Arsenal for today. But now, get ready, get ready, get ready. Mikel Arteta was back in front of the media at Sobarelsi Training Center for his pre-Monaco press conference on Tuesday. Fresh off the grid. Mikel Arteta's Cone Man song before the game against Monaco. So let's see what he had to say before this massive, massive game for Arsenal. On players who were missing from training today, we have to manage a lot of players, so they're probably not going to be fit for tomorrow and are a doubt. I still have 24 hours to make those decisions and hopefully the right ones. So basically, they are probably not going to be fit for tomorrow and are a doubt, which basically means that all these players, all of them, Partey, Gabriel, Timber, Zinchenko, White, Tomiyasu, Calafiori, will not be available. More chances than not. Sadly enough, all of these are our defenders. All of those are players who would play right back for us. So basically, currently, we are looking at defensive line of Kivior and Saliba, and that's about it. Because this manager refuses to play Tierney as a left back, for example. We don't have a right back. Maybe we'll play Aiden Heaven there or something like that. But ultimately, currently, our whole defense is in hospital. They have been hospitalized, they're all injured, and we have nobody to play. And this is a big issue, because in the beginning of the season, having this 22-man squad, which was very thin and everything, I was looking at our defensive line, despite some injury worries, because they are injury prone, and said that that line is the most solid one, because we have depth in every position, and if there is a possibility of an injury, we should be able to rotate. Because in midfield, we don't have that luxury. In the attack, we also don't have that luxury. But now, if we look at our team, in attack, nobody is injured. They just cannot score. In the midfield, besides Partey, nobody is injured. They just cannot create and defend and do anything. Many times, and from open play, we cannot score. And defensively, we have nobody now. The most solid part of the team has been ruined. So the big question is how our defensive line is going to look tomorrow, because currently it looks like it could get very, very edgy during that game. But what Arteta gonna do at that? The injury is tough. Play like shit. Dude, I have no idea. Because at the moment, if genuinely none of them are available, none of those defenders are available, as they are saying, the only option is a back three because we genuinely don't have a right back in the team. Because all of our right backs who could play there are injured. Our left back options are Tierney or Skelly. Well, Kivior, but he will have to play instead of Gabriel. Which ultimately, at the end of the day, means we either gonna play 3 at the back, or we will have to play player out of position / some under 21 guy. Ultimately, that's what it means. What's gonna happen tomorrow? I'm already scared, worried, and yeah, it's not looking too good. On dealing with several injuries, it is what it is. At the end of, if we had to accept the challenge, that it's opportunities for other players to do that. The ideal scenario, we have to be in charge to take those decisions because it's forcing us to make it the wrong reasons. But as well, we need to accept the reality and move forwards. Blah blah blah. On how difficult it is to play how we want to without a settled back line. And that's, to be honest, is a reasonable question solely because, well, if you don't have a solid back line, you are kind of screwed because we have fielded about 9 different defensive lines in the 20 odd games we have played this season, which on average nearly becomes that every third game we play a different back line. What solidity, what familiarity, and what compatibility in terms of players understanding each other, playing off their strengths and weaknesses we could have if we basically play different defensive line almost every third game? There's nothing. And that is also a big issue defensively. It's not a wonder that people get caught ball watching, someone doesn't cover quickly enough and stuff like that. It is a worry, let's be real. If we need to create more chance from open play, well, no shit, Sherlock. We want to create more from every angle and from set pieces as well. He had to mention that. We could have created more than we did and could have scored another 1 or 2, so always trying to evolve. He likes to regard his Arsenal as a Pokemon, basically, and be better. In the last 2 games, we haven't scored a goal from open play. That is a worry in itself, in my opinion. Because if you have to rely on set pieces solely to score 3 goals in 2 games, something is wrong. There is something fundamentally and tactically wrong with the team. It cannot be players alone. It has to be tactics and manager as well. At the same time, it also should not be manager alone. It should be also on the players, because players on the pitch have all the ability, technically, to kind of disregard some of these instructions and play what they seem the best. The issue with that is, most of the time at Arsenal, it's Arteta's way or the highway. And if you don't stick to game plan that he wants, you're gonna be basically exiled from the team. Happened with Aubameyang, happened with, what else was there? Guendouzi and other players. It has happened before, so it's definitely not a great look overall when you look at things. So basically, all of our players are in a predicament. You either play how Arteta wants, or basically you don't play at all. At least at Arsenal. On if the feeling around the place after Fulham is different compared to previous setbacks. Yeah, the more I watch it, to concede the way we concede and how the hell we draw that game, it's difficult to understand, but that's the beauty of football as well. We will adapt, obviously, pull our heads up. It was disappointing, it was very emotional as well, as because scoring the second one and it being disallowed, it was tough. We have to move every 3 games. It's another opportunity, and we need to keep going. And to be honest, in one way, I agree with him here. After a loss, you're pretty much, as a footballer, as any kind of sport, I can speak that from experience, it's the worst thing is if you have international breaks afterwards, or you have to wait a week for the next game. The thing you want to do the most is get back on the pitch and correct that mistake, rectify that result, and basically show that we are good enough and we can actually do it. And the fact that we have to play against Monaco, it's actually not that bad of a thing, in that regard at least. The bad thing is that we have injuries on our whole back line besides Kiwi or Tierney, Saliba, and Skelly. That is the unfortunate part. We have 4 fit defenders currently. 4 out of 11, 12? We have 4 fit defenders out of 11. Like, that cannot fly. On what we learned from the Champions League last season, yeah, we have to do a lot to the things that we do in the Premier League. The tendency always is to look at the Champions League like something else. So how big is the Premier League and how big is the Champions League? It's not the Premier League, it is this size, and the Champions League is this size. We've faced incredible difficult oppositions every week, and that's the good thing. We're coming up now up against a very good team in Monaco. They're going to be doing incredibly well, and they are so used to it because we play every 3 days against this kind of opposition. So yeah, it's learning about certain things and scenarios because of the Champions League and different in certain ways. But there are similarities. I'm getting very tired about all of this, you know? The more I read, it feels like I lose brain cells because he's speaking like a true politician. He speaks in a very nice, very calmly manner with his voice that suits all the media. And at the same time, he's saying words. So technically, he looks like he says something, yet ultimately he says nothing. Because all this paragraph he mumbled about could be said in 2 sentences, but he dragged it out basically like in a whole paragraph. It's like in school, you have to write an essay and the teacher says it's minimum 1,000 words. So instead of saying it was a beautiful sunny day, you start writing it was a brightly sunny and hot day. The birds were chirping and the wind was blowing, and as it blew into my hair I felt a nice breeze and everything. And you basically put that, you add extra words and descriptions and everything. It's kind of wild. That's how it feels like, basically. That's actually kind of mad. I would go a bit mad and play a backline of Saliba, Rice, Kivior and Tierney. So who plays right back, Kivior or Tierney? Because I kind of would love to see Arteta go mad in a way that he goes back to basically first year of his coaching. In the first half year, when we played 5 at the back. Remember? Yeah, that's the thing. Saliba has played right back at Arsenal, momentously, on some occasions at Arsenal. Not for a long time, but about 5-10 minutes in the game, basically. But for me, I would love to see, because basically 9 days, we are 9 days away from Arteta officially being here 5 years straight, by the way. I wouldn't be against the fact that we go to a 3 at the back. Play, for example, Saliba, Kivior, or Rice at center backs. Tierney as a left wing back, Saka, Martinelli as a right wing back. And then midfield of basically Jorginho, Merino, some crap like that, basically. And the attack, of course. And in the attack, we can have Havertz and stuff like that. That would actually be very interesting. Very, very interesting if we kind of tried something very unorthodox in that regard. Rice is a center. Exactly, Rice is a center back. In the academy of Chelsea and even West Ham, he was a center back. He just requalified to number 6, and in West Ham he was number 6. I don't know why Arteta is trying to shoehorn him being a number 8, because it's not working like properly. It's not his full option and not his full ability to unlock himself. No, Rice is CM and CDM. Jorginho, Odegaard, and Vanjeri. Vanjeri would be a nice option. Right wing Vanjeri, for example. Right wing Vanjeri. Imagine that. Or Merino as a DM. Merino as a 6 is a very interesting one. Because it would be very interesting to see Merino as a 6. Because he has quite a few qualities similar, not the same. Don't take this out of context, like Thomas Partey. He has a decent tackle. He's not the fastest, ironically. He's somewhat strong. He has a decent ball. He's not the greatest passer, but he can kick a long ball on occasion. That would actually be very interesting. Exactly. Arteta needs to think outside the box here. Because if we look at this, when our whole defensive line is injured, besides Saliba, Kivior, Tierney, and Skelly, okay, you can add Josh Nichols, technically, Aiden Heaven. Who else we have taken with us, like Maldini, Gabbia, and stuff like that, right? But if you look at it realistically, there's genuinely only 4 defenders who have played for Arsenal on more or less consistent basis. We have subbed on Skelly against Man City, by the way. So there definitely is a player there that he trusts him enough. If you sub him on against City, this game it's even more important, because for Arsenal, I think, to remain in the top 8, to get into top 8 even in Champions League, we need to win every single of the remaining 3 games. If we even drop points in one of them, there's a big possibility we will finish outside of top 8, which means we'll have to go in this elimination special stage, where, by the looks of things, we could face Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and all the big teams. And if we get even one of them, it could get Pick'ems. Because I have no belief whatsoever that we could get past Atletico Madrid, for example. Given how they played against Sevilla, by the way, over the weekend, no trust whatsoever. Because if we don't get top 8, we have no chance. Unless we get lucky and get some random pleb team from, like, I don't know, from Switzerland or something. Although Swiss teams do historically good against English sides. Or something like that. It's not going to be good. It's generally not going to be good. On if there's anything different about Martin Odegaard since he became a father. How is this question specifically, relevant to the game against Monaco? Like, how is this relevant to the game against Monaco? Is there anything different about him since he became a father? Like, yes, all of a sudden he can play with his right foot. All of a sudden he has 5-star weak foot. In FIFA settings, if you know, you know. Like, what recollection it has to the game? What connection it has to the game? Like, what are these questions sometimes? That's for him probably to discuss, but I'm so proud to see them growing in our club and around our people, blah, blah, blah. On if Josh Nichols is available for Monaco. He's been having some issues. We still don't know if he's available or not. Look, even under 21s are injured at Arsenal. Defenders. Josh Nichols is injured. So even me speculating that we could play maybe Josh Nichols somehow doesn't even work because he also is injured. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Most of our defenders in the first team are injured, and even the B team for Champions League specifically is injured. Like, what the hell is this about? They always promote Odegaard for PR when things get pressurized and there's... Exactly, Odegaard always gets this PR. Genuinely always gets the most PR of all the players. Obviously Saka gets a lot of it, but he's English, he's a star boy in England and all that stuff. Odegaard, outside of the rest of the team, is the only one who gets this kind of level of PR. It's actually kind of wild and embarrassing. On how Gabriel Jesus is mentally at the moment. That's actually a decent question for a change. Like all strikers, they go on phases and moments, and that gap is becoming big. It's true that obviously a lot of things has happened, injuries, absences of not playing or starting games that much, but his attitude has been really good. It always is, and we are going to try to help him overcome the situation as soon as possible. Fam, it's been 1.5 years of this crap. What do you mean these phases go and these moments happen? It's been 1.5 years of a long moment, you know. Injuries, missing games, everything for 1.5 years. It's not just an off like two months or something. It's 1.5 years now. On if we're willing to let him go in January. No sense. Did he mean no nonsense or no sense? Because that's a double negative, which basically means yes. I don't get this answer. I generally don't get this answer. Technically it sounds like a double negative, so it's a positive. Yes, we are getting rid of him. Like, what is this? Like, seriously. On if it's a nightmare with the number of players missing. I was hoping to improve it, and it did improve. Where did it improve? Players coming back from injuries doesn't mean the numbers of players are getting better. They just come back from injuries. The number stays the same. If you would improve on that, you would have signed 3-4 players in summer transfer window to have actual depth in the team, have proper backups. You wouldn't have to play Thomas Partey as a right back. Have you ever seen Arsene Wenger play Patrick Vieira as a right back? Ever? Like, seriously. Like, serious question. Patrick Vieira as a right back. Any takers? Have you seen Thierry Henry under Arsene Wenger play as a left wing back like Aubameyang did under Arteta? Have you ever seen that? Like, what are we doing here? Like, seriously, what are we doing here? But then very quickly after the first game, we started to have issues and more issues than we expected. But honestly, the good news is that the team still reacts and plays in the way that we want and becomes so dominant, and we want to do that that regardless of who plays, and I think the belief is within the team, and it's all really positive. Oh, happy days. Apparently he said no nonsense, according to the top Gooners. That's the thing. Source of the news, trust me, bro. Basically, those are the sources. AFTV said that Arteta shut down Gabi Jesus rubbish. I think Jesus is his long lost child. Exactly. That is the thing. That is something like that. Because currently there would be no difference in keeping Nketiah or keeping Jesus. Only difference is the fact that Nketiah would be on 2.5 times less money a week than Jesus is at the moment. Only difference, by the way. Jesus is like 230, 240 grand, and Nketiah was on 100. That genuinely between them is the only difference currently. Nketiah hasn't scored in about 28 games in the league at the moment. Journalists actually asked about Tierney. I'm shocked. Exactly. That is something you don't see every day. And if there's an opportunity for Kieran Tierney to come back into the team, yeah, he is ready and he's training really well, and he's going to have an opportunity for sure with the way the team is looking at the moment. Oh, Tierney might actually start tomorrow. Oh my god. By the way, already putting a disclaimer here. Tierney hasn't played in half a year. Exactly half a year since June of Euros, right? If he's gonna have a mediocre bad performance, all the top Gooners, more chances than not, will say, see, that's why Arteta has signed Calafiori, because he cannot do this, he cannot do that. Wait for it, just wait for it. Opportunity. It's for that reason, because he's earned it as well. So what was the all about sending him on loan to 55 teams, marinating him on the bench, not playing him because he cannot invert and all that crap? As well as with the way he's behaved and the way he's been with us, because he's willing to do it. And when that happens, you have to give opportunities to those kind of players. Yeah, Tierney has had so many opportunities in Arsenal since Arteta came in. Helped him win the FA Cup, by the way. One of 3 players that are still left at Arsenal since Arteta won that FA Cup, by the way. Tierney, who started every single game pretty much. Saka, who didn't play in semi-finals and finals. And Martinelli, who was injured at the time. Only 3 players that have been left. And what has happened since then? We signed Zinchenko, we signed players like that. Tierney marinates the bench, goes out on loan to Real Sociedad, to wherever he goes out on loan to, and that is the reward Arteta is giving him for his patience with this bullcrap of inverting only. Genuinely. Edu needs a statue for shotting Nketiah to Pal. Exactly. That how he pulled that off is genuinely insane, to say the least. Tierney was a baller at Celtic, left back, center back, and left wing, bro. Cooked only with the... That's the thing. When he was at Arsenal, he was cooking as well most of the time. The issue is, he just was too injury prone. Genuinely, he was just too injury prone. And when he got back to fitness, Arteta didn't like him because he couldn't invert, he didn't do anything. However, compared to all the left backs we have in the club at the moment, he can put in the best cross, he can overlap the best, he can defend the best, and he's a proper left back. Make that make sense. Tierney should be our captain, never mind playing. That's the thing. When Tierney just came in and how we were playing, there were talks about Tierney actually becoming a captain at Arsenal at some point. At least from the fan base point of view. They were saying he will have a massive legacy at Arsenal. The injuries really slowed him down. That is a bit of a worry. Dude, he has captain Lazio, he has captain... Not Lazio, Celtic, he has captain Scotland as well. For Scotland, he even plays left centre back, not even left back, by the way, because they have Robertson who plays as a left back. Left wing back, they play 3 at the back. Like, what are we doing here? What else is here? What else he has asked? What they have asked? On units. What? How they work together and how they impact Mikel team selections. Yes, because if they haven't played together enough, we have to alter certain positions, and I don't care about that. Because that sounds like proper waffle what I'm reading there. On why injuries keep happening. Well, it's knock-on effect. Well, it isn't really, is it though? Because you overplayed the players last season. We got no injuries whatsoever pretty much to our main 11. This season, well, the footballing god is returning the favor. You had no injuries, now you will gonna have loads. Let's see you deal with that though. and everything. You overplayed your players, you don't manage them properly, subpar substitutions, the wrong timing, playing the same levels full 90 when the games are decided, running them into the ground. Well, by the end of the season, they cannot even stand on their feet pretty much. Ben White plays half a year with an injury with a necessity of a surgery. Odegaard comes back, plays against Chelsea, full 90 by the way. When he goes to Norway, Norway say, are you dumb? You cannot even play. You shouldn't play. And they send him back to Arsenal to recover. Then we play Rice with a broken toe against Chelsea. Put him on set pieces by the way as well on top of all of that. Like what there is no knock-on effect. It's just mismanagement of the players and substitutions and coaching and in general. We have a lot of joint injuries that are very difficult to predict. We have some through tackles, for example, and again are quite difficult to predict. The other one probably is overload. The amount of minutes to play. Oh, and whose fault is that? Not signing proper players, not signing proper backups, not substituting them, playing them when there is no need and everything. Whose fault is that? It's all on you, you dumbass. The knock-on effect, not having one or two players available means it puts more strain on minutes on somebody else. That's not a good change. Yeah, but if you had proper backups, you wouldn't be in this situation now, would you? That's much higher that you want to put, but we are where we are. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Personally, this is off topic, but Nketiah played way better than Jesus at striker. 10 plus goals, Jesus don't even score. Jesus scored 14 goals in the first season, didn't he, at Arsenal? After that, it just went downhill with everything. Big up Nathan, big up my guy. I think this set piece association with us is not good. It brings a magnifying glass on all of our goals, and once teams suss out our corners, it's nothing to suss out, to be honest. Because as soon as we're gonna get man-marked, by the way, by the players, and we just on the defensive side just gonna basically open a gap, a pathway for goalkeeper to run out of the box and to collect the ball with his hands, we are done. Because our whole this tactics on set pieces rely on causing chaos in the box, running in, blocking of the keeper in a loud fashion with dark arts, and then just jumping into the ball wherever it flies. Like, that's about it. Team just need to go and study the tape when we play Inter earlier this season. Exactly. The way we played Inter, Donetsk, Shakhtar and teams like that, it's prime examples. Even, let's be real, even Fulham to some extent. Adama Traore single-handedly was man-marking Saliba. A midget Traore shoved Saliba to the ground. And that pretty much said everything, our set pieces for the whole game. Arteta needs to start watching other coaches and learn. Exactly. I would agree, but modern day goalies aren't good enough at catching high claims to do. That is the thing. Well, there are some, but not all of them. Then parry the ball. Hit it away. Don't be a Ramsdale. Then you go into the fight and you basically lose where you are. You start looking at pigeons and bees and wasps flying around. Don't do that though. Raya is a rare one. His catching is nuts. It feels like he has like super glue to his gloves. He catches the ball and never releases it. It's actually wild how other keepers just catch the ball and it falls out, throw it to the ground. Raya just holds it by one hand and just looks what's next. Exactly. And then you never seen Patrick Vieira play as a right back under Arsene Wenger. Keepers who could catch used to be 20 out of 20. These days, no goalkeeper can catch a ball. Much more prefer the goalkeeper who can distribute the ball like Luka Modric, at least try, than catch a ball like a proper goalkeeper. And if he's worried about the number of goals we are scoring from open play, well, no goals in 2 games, so 0 goals in 2 games from open play, you should be worried. No, I don't worry because I watch the game, the situations we have in open play, and what the opposition has created in open play. I don't know if we can do much more than that, especially when I watch Fulham's previous games and the opposition they've played. Set pieces are a consequence of what we do in open play and how we do defensively. Dude, it's not a consequence because you can see quite a few times that we basically run down the byline and purposely hit the ball from the defender so it goes out for a corner. That's not even a consequence of the way we play. We just seek out corners. And then it takes for Declan Rice 2 minutes to get to the corner flag and kick the ball. It's a phase that it's part of that. It's a phase again. Haha. You guys, I know that you see this as set pieces and that's open play. I see set pieces and open play altogether, but I respect that a lot. I don't agree, but I respect it. Oh, he's throwing some sass out there. Sassy Arteta. Football has turned in. Yeah, it's weird these days. It's very modern football is somewhat questionable at times. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of devolved. It's evolved and devolved at the same time. It sounds weird, but it feels that way. That generally sounds that way, at least. I'm quite surprised that no team have managed to effectively counter. Yeah, that is also the case. Somehow we either well. Has there been a team who even has gone that chance? Like seriously, if we talk about it. Have we played a team who actually has ability to counterattack us properly from a corner? Because most of the time when we have these set pieces, we mostly get to the ball first and it goes out for a goal kick, or we score a goal, or the goalkeeper catches it and we instantly spring backwards. We haven't faced a team that specifically just counters in these instances as well. Yes, Fulham technically had Adama Traore and players like that, but Adama was covering Saliba at times at center back, so there's no counter from that position. Let's be real, the way Saliba runs into the box. So we actually haven't played a specific team that would counter properly. Maybe a bit Sporting Lisbon in the second half when Gyökeres got a few chances, maybe that counts. But ultimately, we haven't played a team per se who would like strictly counter us. I would love to see, for example, us getting countered by Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid with the pace, with Vini and Mbappe and teams like with players like that getting countered after a corner. I would be more excited to see that. I would like to see how we deal with that and everything. That would be actually quite piquant, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, on his thoughts on Monaco, dude. It took 20 questions and finally we got a question about Monaco. 20 questions and we finally got a question about Monaco. Isn't it that the case? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It took 16 questions and we finally have a question about Monaco. And that's the penultimate question of the interview alone. That's wild, I'm not gonna lie. That is hella wild. Genuinely. Anyways, really impressed, really good side. You'll see that the run they've been on the Champions League and the league, especially against top opposition, so they're a real threat, a team that is superbly well organized, really intense, they're really good in transition moments. That would be fun to see after our corners. And a team that's a lot of quality, so it's going to be a very good test for us tomorrow. On his memories of playing against Monaco with PSG. So out of 18 questions in this pre-match press conference, 1 has been about game against Monaco. Rest of them have been mostly about, well, injuries, that makes sense, but mostly about his memories, Odegaard being a father, not scoring goals and everything. How about specifically? How about the question, how you gonna beat Monaco today? Will you have something like that? Ay, Dios mío. Josh Nichols available for Monaco. Like, it's weird. Like, for example, what we've learned from the Champions League last season. Okay, we have, but that, what? If there's anything different about Martin Odegaard since he became a father. If we need to create more chance from open play, that's a general issue. That's not about the game against Monaco. On dealing with several injuries, that's a general question you could ask any time of the day. That's not a question you ask in pre-game press conference. But anyways, let's do this. Let's see this. How many times we have played Monaco? We have played Monaco, oh, my bad, 2 times in Champions League in our history. And that is that infamous game, by the way. That is that infamous game where we shot ourselves into the foot after losing 3-1 at home against Monaco. We won 2-0 away. And yeah, remember that game with Giroud and missing and everything? That was just one of the best of times, wasn't it? Round of 16 and everything. Good old memories being an Arsenal fan. If it's not getting panned by Bayern Munich 10-2, then it's losing against Olympiacos or Monaco or teams like that. That's fun. That's fun. That's fun. That's great, guys. 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss against Monaco in our history in Champions League specifically as well. Lost 3-1 at the Emirates and won 2-0 at Monaco. I'm not gonna lie, we haven't lost this season at the Emirates, so this will be very, very interesting. Okay. Whoop, wrong one. How does this look? I'm just checking. Does this look better? Oh, this looks much better, doesn't it? This looks much better. We're gonna try this today. I want to know what is going on with... He's injured, that's what's going on. Maybe he got injured doing the catwalk on London Fashion Week, who knows? When the moon hits your eye, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, Calafiore. And all that jazz. Dude, it's embarrassing. Bro, everybody knows about our set pieces. No, we shouldn't do this crap. If we play good and one-touch football and pass, we score. Exactly, if we move the ball quickly, we're gonna exploit the gaps. That's, yeah, wait. Let's check League 1 table. Let's check League 1 table. Let's see how Monaco are doing in the League McDonald's. Generally, we're gonna look at McDonald's League. Monaco are currently sitting 3rd in the league, 9 games, 2 draws, 3 losses, 29 points. They have better stats than Arsenal, by the way. I know it's League 1, by the way, but they have better stats than Arsenal, just saying it. They just got overtook by Marseille solely on goal difference. By the way, that's also quite nuts, to say the least. But ultimately, very interesting. Very interesting. They're 3rd in the table. They're playing some good football. They're very dangerous. I don't know what to expect. Atalanta have equalized versus Real. The Cataler penalty. Oh, Nathan is probably happy. He's a big fan of Gasperini and Atalanta. How is it looking? Let's look at some Champions League scores before we build starting 11 for the game against Monaco. Zagreb played 0-0 against the Celtic. Girona lost 1-0 against Liverpool. What are the stats saying? I didn't watch the game. Salah scored a penalty. It's not that. It looks like a pretty even game. Yes, Liverpool had more possession, but overall, very even game. Real Madrid 1-1 with Atalanta. Mbappe scored, and Mbappe got injured. Kylian Mbappe is injured for Real Madrid. 36th minute, forced substitution, and of course they scored a penalty. Courtois had no chance to save that. Bayern versus Inter 0-0, which is very interesting, by the way. I thought that game would see some more goals. Although with Inter's defense and the level of defense they play, I'm actually not surprised. Genuinely not surprised. Leverkusen has 61% possession, by the way. It's nuts. By the way, Inter are playing 3 at the back, which is effectively 5 at the back. And based on this layout, Bayer Leverkusen are playing also 5 at the back. That's kind of nuts. Brest are winning 1-0 against PSV. That's interesting. Club Brugge Sporting 1-1. Catamo scored. Quaresma scored an own goal. Gyökeres has a yellow and stinking on the place. Leipzig versus Villa 1-1. Openda scored and McGinn scored. Unai Emery, good evening. He's doing actually very good in Champions League. Salzburg 1-0 PSG. PSG scored. Gonçalo Ramos scored for PSG. Dude, haven't heard that name in a while. And Bayern Munich beating Donetsk Shakhtar 2-1. Leimer scored. Thomas Müller scored. And for Shakhtar, Kevin scored. Kevin! Come on. Even a counter attack, we can't even do that. Yeah, we just lost. It feels that way. We can't pass on the wings inside. It's not. Girona away will be tough. 100% Girona away will be very, very tough game, to say the least. I'm expecting a very tough game against Girona away. And I think Girona actually could do us over if we are still injured and everything. That's why I hope that Arsenal actually signs some players in January transfer window in the first fucking week before the FA Cup, before the big games, before the Champions League games, and everything. I predicted 1-1 for Bayern versus Inter. I said it could be 2-1 or 1-0 for one of the teams. I didn't predict any winner. Well, that's good. That's good. You could do well in your predictions. But I need a Verts goal. Yeah, that could be a bit rough one. Thomas Müller still scoring in Champions League. How wild is that? Jelly, how wild is that? Anyways, starting 11. Now, we need a different formation, don't we? We need a 4-3-3 knowing Mikel Arteta and his unimaginative styles, don't we? Now, let's do the starting 11. In goal, David Raya, Arsenal. Dude, don't even. He was in World Cups when exactly. I was still in school when he was already playing in World Cups. It's wild, man. He's old, but he doesn't. So, the starting 11. It's actually very rough to decide. Predicted starting 11, by the way. Saliba, Kivior. I would do this, by the way. We don't have a right back, do we? But knowing this solely depends on injuries. This solely depends on injuries. This solely depends on injuries. This solely depends on injuries, if you get what I mean. Because if we, yeah, it's a rough one to predict. I'm not gonna lie, starting 11 predictions. Because if it was me, knowing the fact that we have all defenders most likely not available and Partey is out, I would do this for tomorrow. Where is it? Where is it? Might as well play something like this. Might as well play something like this. Wait. 5-3-2. We need one more. I kind of messed that up one. Now this and 5-3-2. Where is it? I kind of would go with this lineup then. That would be me. Although I think this would be the case, by the way. I would. Okay, I get it now. I would do something like this, maybe. I actually would explore this idea. If I was Arteta and all the transfer rumors, the injury rumors were actually true, I would actually do something like this. Has to be, doesn't it? The question is how we actually would set up this team. That is the big question. That is the big question. I could see something like this. The attack then is a big issue though, isn't it? The attack is a bit of an issue because we have no backups. We have no backups. So this 4-3-3 actually could be something like this even. What about this? What about this? I know it looks mad, it looks weird and everything, but it actually could work. It actually could work. Merino as a 6, Odegaard as a left 8, Vanjeri as Trossard as 2 center forwards, and Havertz up top. I generally believe that actually could work. One thing though, I cannot decide between this though. Maybe put Saliba as a right-sided center back and Declan Rice through the middle. Although we no. This would look better. This would be better, because Saliba needs some. Saliba could help Tierney if something goes wrong. I would actually go with this 11 if there was a possibility. By the way, I would love to see this happen. By the way, will it happen? Obviously not. I know. But this would not just be my predicted 11, but this would be something I would like to see. And let's remember, again, if you're just joined the stream, these are the players who were not in training, and Mikel Arteta has said big chance that they might actually not participate in the game. Partey, Gabriel, Timber, Zinchenko, White, Tomiyasu, Calafiori. Genuinely. And that's why I'm thinking about this. That could work. Genuinely, I think this could work. The issue is, who comes off the bench? Jesus? Sterling? And then you start to struggle a bit. Jorginho? It could be a bit of a yikes one, though. It could be a bit of a yikes one in that regard, wouldn't it? Imagine if Arteta starts cheering in the first 10 minutes, he goes through the back and someone gets sent off and shouts Arteta. Ooh! Sakanelli wingbacks. Yeah, I generally think that could work. I can do that the right one. Exactly. I wouldn't be against even Saka playing as a left wing back and Martinelli as a right wing back. Wouldn't be against that. But we all know that Arteta has this fetish of left-footed players on the right side and right-footed player on the left side. Hence why I'm sticking to this. That would cook. I say we play Skelly at the right back or Saliba. Saliba as a right back would be very dangerous. Very dangerous, because Saliba wouldn't be used to doing that much running. And Monaco's team is actually very active and very movable. Skelly comes off the bench. Yeah, could be. Skelly could come off the bench. And Jorginho, Odegaard, Vanjeri in the midfield. No forward, Saka, Trossard, Havertz or Jesus. 3-4-3. This is a bit different then. Because then we have to kind of change some things around, don't we? We do 3-4-3. It wouldn't work in 3-4-3. Like, kinda. Exactly. That is the big thing. We can afford Saliba injury, and Saliba playing right back would be the worst thing, arguably. Because last year, when Gabriel held the bench in the beginning of the season, we already played Partey as a right back, and he got injured straight afterwards. And ironically, it was straight after Fulham game, so it is a weird one, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I would love to see this type of team. I generally would. Now imagine this team, like this team, right? Just instead, it just looks a bit like this. For example. Wait. My bad. And instead of Vanjeri, for example, we would have Timber. Right? We would have Timber instead of Vanjeri and stuff like that. Just imagine that, for example. But we don't, so let's be real. So that would actually be kind of nuts. I would love to see Vanjeri start. I think this type of 11 would actually be very refreshing and very unique to see. I generally believe that actually would be the one. This is it, you're cooking. I generally think that this actually, right, would actually work if we, instead of Vanjeri, right, if we actually... I cannot do this properly. Again, I switched them around. What am I doing here? This actually could work. Timber there. Gabriel, for example, instead of Tierney, and Martinelli, for example, goes here, right? And then we put Tierney as a left wing back who bombs up and down. And instead of this guy, we actually, instead of Trossard, for example, remove, right? And instead of Trossard, we have Gabriel here. Just imagine now this, for example. This team actually would be very interesting to see how this works. And wait, yeah, and then we do this. Then we do this. This team, how would this team play? How do you think, how would this team play if we did something like this in the future when everyone's fit? Would this actually be good, or would this actually be caca? Saka at false 9 is a very interesting one because he has played there before, and that actually could work. That actually could genuinely work. And short passing game plan, tiki-taka, in behind, can over the top and everything. Jesus, Sterling, whoever you want, Vanieri as a sub, it actually could work. Merino and everything there actually could work. But anyways, this was just wild speculation how the starting 11. But if I'm serious, right? If we get serious here with all the injuries that everyone has talking about, right? This would be my starting 11. This would be my starting 11 for the game. This would be my starting 11 for the game. Tierney, Trossard. Wait, Trossard. This would be my starting 11 for the game. Given all the injuries that have been spoken a lot about over time, I would actually play something like this. I kid you not, I would actually play something like this. It might seem stupid, it might seem weird, but the fact that we have all the defenders injured and out, I wouldn't be against seeing 3 at the back, with Rice as one of the center backs, with Saliba and Tierney as center backs, Saka as a right wing back, Merino, Odegaard in 6 and 8, Martinelli as a left wing back. If you want, you can switch them around, but Arteta doesn't like that, so it's not going to happen. Vanieri as a right wing, Trossard as a left wing, and Havertz up top. I would be very interested to see how that works. But predictions for this game, we need a win. I'm not sure what to predict, how Arsenal will look, due to the fact that it is a bit of a yikes one. We haven't scored 2 games in a row from open play. We have stinked out with set pieces. Don't know what to expect. So I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal. I hope we win this game. Because if we look at Champions League table, right? If we look at Champions League table, right? It is live at the moment, right? You kind of cannot see properly. Yeah, I need to find a proper page. Currently, it looks like this. Links, and we do it like this. You will see, you will see. If we look at it this way, right? Arsenal currently, based on current results, are 11th. If we win the game, we could get above Leverkusen if the result stays the same and everything. But ultimately, if we want to get in that top 8, we need to win all of the remaining 3 games. All of the remaining 3 games. So I'm going 2-1 Arsenal in hopes that we basically get the job done and get through. That is my hope. Genuinely, that is my hope, that it happens and we can actually do it properly. That is my hope. Will it happen? Who knows? But I'm going for 2-1 Arsenal. I'm going for 2-1 Arsenal tomorrow. 2-1 is mine. No, originally 2-0 before the injury news. Exactly, the injury news are really a massive blow. Because if you haven't seen it, here's again. Arsenal have quite a bit of players that were not in training. And according to Mikel Arteta, all of these players are a doubt and might not even play at all. So this is all still under a big question mark whether all of them will play. We have 8 players out. 7, sorry. Well, 8 technically, but we have 7 players out. 6 of them are starting 11 players, so defensively specifically, so at the moment. So this will definitely be a rough one. But I'm going 2-1 Arsenal, sorry. I hope we can get the result. We need to get back on winning ways, because if we lose this game, it will be a rough one. We most likely will finish below 8th, and then basically if we got to play someone who we don't want to play. I want us to score an open play goal tomorrow. I want us to score quickly in the first 10 minutes, then score another one till 30th, and then see what happens. I want us to finish them off quickly. That is something we haven't done in a while, and I want to see that tomorrow. But yeah, for today from me, that will be it. Big up Nathan who dropped by, big up Marlon, big up Pepper, big up you lot. Obviously tomorrow Arsenal are playing, so no stream, nothing in those sorts, so very sorry about that. I will be back on Thursday, but for tomorrow I'm taking a day off solely because Arsenal are playing. Unfortunately, I'm not in a place where I can do a live watch along. I'm not in a place. So it is what it is, but obviously I will be watching the game and we will discuss it on Thursday. But for today, take care, stay safe, see you all in 2 days. Hope you enjoy the game tomorrow, and